Welcome to the Partnership Power Hour with your host, Sandra Shelson, featuring guests Dr. Jeff Wilson and Qula Madkin.
It's 10 o'clock, everyone, and welcome to the Power Hour. I'm Sandra Shelson. I'm the Executive Director of the Partnership for Healthy Mississippi, and along with Sharon Nettles with the Mississippi State Extension Service, we welcome you to our call. I hope everyone has had a lovely last 2 weeks, and we're all getting ready, I hope, for Easter. The weather can't make up its mind what it wants to do. It's hot, it's cold, it's rainy, stormy, it's beautiful, all of the above, and usually all in one day. I'm very excited about our speakers today. But first, just a reminder that the Power Hour is now being recorded. It is in podcast form, and we're excited to let you know that we're now on Spotify. So you can follow the Partnership Power Hour on Spotify to receive notifications of our new episodes and to listen to all of the most recent episodes. So that's very exciting for us. You can hear some opportunity to, share the information going forward as well. Just as we're moving into spring, there's so many things that we all need to take an accounting of. They talk about spring cleaning. I think spring is a great time when the weather gets nice and you can spring clean not only your home, but also some of your lifestyles. It's a great time to get back out and exercise and start eating fresh vegetables, go to the farmer's market. And I think that's all a great segue into our theme today. And we're so excited to have with us from the Mississippi Extension Service our speakers today, Dr. Jeff Wilson and Qula Madkin. And I'm excited to hear from both of them. But Dr. Wilson, I'll let you know that I was saying earlier, I'm starting to try to grow my very first potato. Wow, really put yourself out there. But I'm excited to see if the little baby's going to sprout or not. So I know that that's way below the skills of a master gardener, but we're excited to hear about what you have to say. So Dr. Jeff Wilson, you're up, and we're excited to hear what you have to say. Dr. Wilson?
All right. Thank you, Sandra. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you perfectly. Thank you.
All right. Well, I'm excited to hear that you are growing a potato. That's a good start. So we all have to start somewhere, and I'm excited to hear that you are trying to grow something. And so I always just tell people, if you're unsure of what you want to grow, just try anything. You have to get started somewhere. So I'm excited that you are doing that. And so I would encourage everyone to try and grow something. That's how we learn, is just by doing. So again, thank you for the opportunity to share with you about the Master Gardener Volunteer Program, which I'm in charge of statewide. Before I do that, I just briefly want to discuss what the Extension Service is, just for any of your viewers that might be aware of what the Extension Service does. The Extension Service provides research-based educational programs and information to try and improve the economic, the social, and the cultural well-being for all Mississippians. And so that's what the Extension Service is all about. And we do that in a multitude of avenues. And we have 5 major areas, agriculture being one, and that's where the Master Gardener Program falls under agriculture. But there's also natural resources. The most popular area of extension that most people have heard of is the 4-H youth development area. And then, of course, there's family and consumer education, which I think Qula will be discussing some of that with you today, and the community resource development. And so, as I said, I'm in charge of the Master Gardener Program on the statewide level. So I want to spend a few moments just telling everyone what the Master Gardener Program is about and how you can get involved if you're interested. And so The Master Gardener program began in Washington State in 1972. So 50 years ago, this program began in Washington State. And there was an agent there who was overwhelmed with the number of horticulture calls that were coming into the local extension office. And he wanted to try and find a way to get help with answering all those calls because it was more than one person could do, as everyone extension can relate to that. And so he came up with the idea of training the public on horticulture topics, and then in return, they would volunteer their time with the local extension service to try and help meet those horticulture needs in the community. And so that is how the Master Gardener volunteer program began on the national level. The first Master Gardeners were trained and certified in Mississippi in 1992. So last year was our 30th anniversary. This year we're actually currently in our 31st year of the program. And during that time, over 3,000 Master Gardeners in Mississippi have been certified. And we currently have around 1,600 Master Gardeners who volunteer in Mississippi, and they service 60 of our 82 counties. So we're very excited about that. And you may be thinking, well, what is the Master Gardener program exactly? And so the Master Gardener program is a home horticulture education and volunteer leader training program, and it's offered through MSU Extension. In exchange for educational training, individuals then volunteer their expertise and service to help the county extension office with their educational efforts in home horticulture. And so that's a big phrase that basically says we train the public in horticulture, and they in turn help the extension office meet their horticulture needs throughout the community. And the basic objectives of the Master Gardener program in Mississippi are to, as I just mentioned, expand the capability of extension to disseminate home horticulture information. That's the primary objective. We also help develop community programs that are related to horticulture. We support 4-H youth gardening programs and contests throughout the state, and they develop a self-sufficient volunteer network. And so that's the basics of what the Master Gardener program is about. Some more specifics, Master Gardeners, they are a diverse group of trained volunteers who are committed to sharing their enthusiasm for gardening. Simply put, they are educators who like digging in the dirt. That's a real simple definition of what Master Gardeners are. And Master Gardeners, they volunteer their time in many different ways throughout the state. Some of our county groups are more service focused, while others are more education focused. And so we leave it up to the counties to determine what's best for that county and the needs in that particular county. But all of these do have an educational component to every program that we do. And so many groups have demonstration gardens that are maintained and used to educate the local community. Some of these demonstration gardens are for vegetables, fruits. Others are for flowers. We have demonstration gardens that are specific to like butterfly gardens and pollinator gardens, or even rose gardens. And so there's a wide variety of the demonstration gardens that Master Gardeners can use and conduct throughout the state for their educational needs. And you can check with your local MSU Extension office or even watch social media to learn about upcoming events that are near you in your local county. We have Master Gardeners that also hold plant clinics for the public to help find solutions to common garden problems. That's one of the most popular things we do is we'll have Master Gardeners set up at farmers markets and fairs within cities and counties, and people can just stop by and ask questions about what's wrong with my yard. You know, what are some of the problems that you're having? Weeds in the lawn, and problems with your vegetables, and how to care for my landscape plants. Those are some of the most popular things that Master Gardeners get asked about. In Mississippi, the structure is set up where the Master Gardeners, they volunteer in their local county, and they're under the direction of the MSU Extension agent in that county. And we refer to that agent who is in charge as the County Master Gardener Coordinator. And this coordinator provides direction and guidance on all Master Gardener projects and their educational programs. So the Master Gardeners work within the county, but they report to the agent in charge just to make sure that everything is being done is under the mission and the scope of the Master Gardener program and the mission and the scope of Extension as well. The State Master Gardener Coordinator, who is me, I oversee the education and programming for all Master Gardeners statewide. The County Master Gardener Coordinators, they defer to the State Coordinator for any assistance they may need with managing their county group. I want to give you some numbers from last year. Our Master Gardeners that volunteer throughout the year, they report their numbers into a reporting system so that we can, have an idea of how much volunteerism was conducted in each year. And last year, in 2021, we had over 750 Master Gardeners that reported hours into our system. And so they volunteered over 19,000 times and made over 55,000 contacts last year alone. These Master Gardeners drove almost 300,000 miles in order to volunteer. And this total value provided to Mississippians last year was over $1.3 million. And so that's the equivalent of having an additional 26 full-time employees. So that's why the Extension Service, we love our Master Gardeners because they basically provided 26 full-time employees to the Extension Service last year through their efforts. We also have many county groups that hold plant sales to raise funds to support their volunteer efforts and also to provide college scholarships to students across the state. This time of year is when all of those plant sales are occurring. Some were last week, but over the next 3 to 4 weeks, there will be plant sales all across the state. And so if you, again, you can check with your local extension office and find out if the group closest to you might be having a plant sale coming up. And so I also get asked, well, how can you become a Master Gardener volunteer? And one of the first questions that people ask is, do I have to know anything to get started? Or do I have to be a gardener? Or do I have to have any, gardening classes? And so the answer to that is no. There are no pre-requirements or any previous experience needed. You can come in completely green, if you will, with no experience, and that's just fine. All we ask is that you need to have a love for plants, growing plants, and a desire to help others, because the Master Gardener program is about helping others. And so that's all that we require, is that you want to learn to love plants and you want to help others. And to become a Master Gardener, you take an online training of 40 hours. And once you complete that training, you then volunteer 40 more hours of service. And once you've done the 40 hours of education and the 40 hours of service, at that point, you become a certified Master Gardener. And to maintain that status each year after that, we volunteer a minimum of 20 service hours and 12 education hours in order to remain an active Master Gardener. This training in the past was done in person. Now it is done completely online, and it's done each spring and each fall. There's currently a spring class going on. This training is done at the participants' own pace. They have 2 months to complete the training, and we have some people that finish it in the first 10 days, and we have others who utilize the full 2 months. And so this training covers a wide variety of horticulture topics, such as botany and ornamentals. We cover fruits and vegetables, insects and diseases. We talk about turf grass and botany and herb and tree care, and we teach plant propagation. And so there's a wide variety of topics that are covered in the initial training to become a Master Gardener. And the cost for this online training is $125. And again, as I said earlier, you can contact your local MSU Extension office to see when the next training is being offered. There will be a fall session, but the dates have not been set yet. There are a lot of benefits to becoming a Master Gardener volunteer. The first is that you gain horticulture knowledge and expertise. You also get to interact with individuals who have similar interests. So you're a gardener and you're interacting with other gardeners. There are opportunities for recognition and awards. You can attend state, regional, and international conferences. There is the personal satisfaction in serving others. And the horticulture knowledge and the personal satisfaction in serving others are the 2 primary reasons in Mississippi and across the country that people join the Master Gardener program. And that gives you an opportunity to connect with the local community through service projects. And so the motto for the Mississippi Master Gardener program is learning, sharing, and growing together. And that is what we do. And so that is sort of a summary of what the Master Gardener program is and how you can get involved if you're interested. And I will give out a website. And so if you want more information about this program, you can go to www.msuext.ms/MG. And that will take you to the Home Master Gardener page of the Extension website. That is what I had to cover. And so I will now turn it back over to you.
Okay, well, I have a couple of questions for you, if you don't mind, and we'll also take additional questions after both presenters. You mentioned, what you cover. So if you've got somebody who wants to learn how to better care for her orchids, is that something that could be, gleaned from these classes, specific things?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So in the initial training, we are covering a wide variety of topics, and we're not going extremely in depth in most of those topics. For the initial training to become a Master Gardener. Once you have become a Master Gardener, you have to take educational hours every year after that. You can take the educational hours in any subject you want. And so if someone, let's say, was interested in orchids specifically, or camellias or roses, whatever, then they could seek out educational opportunities in those specific areas that they're most interested in.
Well, are all of the continuing education hours, is that part of that website that you go to? How do you find the specifics? I mean, that's going to be a lot of education that's going to have to be available, after the initial program. So how is all of that pulled together? If I wanted to do that, how would I go about finding a class specific to roses?
Yes, it's a very good question. And so when someone takes the initial training, they join up with an existing county Master Gardener group already. So I'm in Lee County currently, and there's a Lee County Master Gardener group. And so they join up with that county Master Gardener group. And almost in every case, they're able to get their education hours by meeting with that group. A lot of these groups hold monthly meetings. And at their monthly meetings, they have an extra hour of education time. So many people get their hours just right there in their local county. MSU Extension, we also offer opportunities through Zoom and other online opportunities that if someone wants to take a special class, they can do that as well. And then there are district and statewide meetings for Master Gardeners in Mississippi, and there's even more opportunities to get education there. So it's pretty easy. They have to take 12 hours of education each year once they're certified, and we found it's pretty easy for these individuals to find that opportunity to get those 12 hours. We have over 150 hours of videos recorded right now, so for them to get their 12 each year is a pretty simple task.
Oh, okay. Well, and then another thing that's becoming more and more popular is making sure that what you do is organic. Do y'all cover that in the certification? How to become I know that the certification in growing organic, to be a certified organic farmer, there's a lot of detail involved. So is that something that's at least touched on in the initial course?
Yes, it is. And so I will say that the Master Gardener course, one of the words when I was talking about it earlier, it is a home horticulture program. So we deal with what we call consumer horticulture or home horticulture. We do not deal with commercial horticulture, which is growing things to sell, So we only deal with horticulture from the homeowner perspective. That's what the Master Gardener program is focused on statewide and nationally. But in the vegetable section, the vegetable module of the initial training, the person who is covering how to grow vegetables, they also cover a small section on doing it organically. Now, growing organically in Mississippi is a great challenge because we have a lot of disease pressure and insect pressure in Mississippi that maybe in more northern states they don't have quite as much of. And so by no means am I saying you can't do that, but I'm saying it is more of a challenge. And so we present all the, scientific, the research-based data behind that, and then we allow the participants, to make their own choice from there.
Okay. Another question I had was, you mentioned the demonstration gardens and the plant sales. Is there any coordination with farmers markets?
Okay, so the demonstration gardens, an example, Lowndes County, Mississippi, which is the Columbus area, they have a butterfly garden, and it's a large garden that they maintain that to attract butterflies and other wildlife and pollinators. And so they'll hold educational events throughout the year at that particular garden. The tie-in with master gardeners and farmers markets generally is a lot of farmers markets will ask the master gardeners to come and set up a table there, and they'll have all of the extension publications laid out on the table so the participants who are coming through the farmers market can come over and ask questions and get questions answered about things that are going on in their garden, in their landscape, and they can take the publications home with them, as a reference source after they get home. And then that also is a great opportunity for those master gardeners to promote the Master Gardener program itself and try and recruit new members.
And the plant sales that you were mentioning earlier, is that all just sort of at the county level?
Yes, those are done by the individual county groups. Not all not all of the 60 counties hold a plant sale, but about half of them do. Lee County had theirs last week. A whole bunch of the other counties in the state are having those this week, all throughout the month of April and even into May. It's typically when those plant sales are done. And what that is those master gardeners throughout the year, they raise plants and grow plants, and they collectively sell those in the plant sale, and then they use those funds to fund the educational programs throughout the year. And then a lot of those are also used to fund scholarships throughout the year.
Okay, say a little bit more about the scholarships. Are those, again, at the county level? How would people go about finding? The reason I ask is through one of my civic organizations, we have a scholarship program, and I'm very interested in how does one go about making sure people know that it is available.
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, is it strictly for 4-H, or is it just open? What are the parameters of the scholarship?
Okay, and so those scholarships are conducted at the county level, so they're done differently in the different counties. Some of those, they run it through, they're set up with the MSU Foundation, and they run it through them just to make their life more simple. Some of the other counties completely handle it themselves in-house, but they're all college scholarships. They're scholarships for college is what they are. And in most of those counties, one of the only requirements is you have to be a student who, you are a resident of that county and you're getting ready to go to college. And, some of the scholarships throughout the state are specific to MSU, but most of them are open to any college in Mississippi. And so, but again, it varies by county. Not every county has these scholarships, but there are some that do. So if someone has a junior or senior in high school who's getting ready to apply for scholarships, they could contact their local extension office and see what all opportunities there are through that. And as you had mentioned, 4-H, 4-H offers scholarships as well. But most of these scholarships, the Master Gardener groups, you can be a 4-H participant, but you don't necessarily have to be.
Well, I'm ready to sign up, so I'm going to keep my eyes open. I told you I was growing my potato, and I may have to wait and see if I have any luck with my one potato before I think I have the confidence to jump into the Master Gardener program, but I'm excited. I think that this is a fantastic program that more people need to know about. And, I know that we're segueing into nutrition and physical activity. But I think the more people that understand, just like you said, you have to start somewhere. It could be, an herb that you pick up at the grocery store and try. And I think it's really important that children know where their food comes from. I think it makes the vegetables so much more enticing if they see, they have a hand in helping it grow. I know that there have been lots of school gardens that have started around the state, especially pre-pandemic. And there's some ingenious ways that they're doing it. One of my favorites is to take one of those old, I guess like a water barrel, cut it in half and do a pizza garden where you're growing the different herbs and some of the things that you would put on a pizza. And just being very creative in the ways we get our kids to eat healthier. So anything else you want to add to that, Dr. Wilson?
I'll just say, like what we mentioned earlier, don't be afraid to get started. Don't be afraid to try anything. It could be a flower, an herb, a shrub, or even a fruit or a vegetable. Just plant something. Just get started, and go from there. And start small, and start with one potato plant. That's great, and go from there. And just, don't be afraid to try things. And if it doesn't work out, that's how we learn, and you try again. And so just get out there and get started and try to grow something.
Well, I really appreciate that. And now we're going to hear from Qula Madkin, and she is a nutrition specialist. So we're going to go from having grown it now to have it, prepare it, and to eat it. And we'll take questions from everyone else after Qula's presentation. So, Qula?
Great. Thank you so much. Can everybody hear me okay?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, great. So like Dr. Wilson said, he mentioned, which was great because I don't have to say the pillars of extension and kind of what we do, but I do want to share a little bit about family and consumer sciences and what our extension agents bring to Mississippians through our being family and consumer science agents, really trying to provide health and well-being information for Mississippians. And in my area, nutrition specifically, I do want to share just some of the things that we're doing briefly. Obviously, everyone needs food to survive. I'm in the mindset, like Dr. Wilson said, to just try it. Definitely don't have a green thumb, but it's actually becoming greener. I'd say it's about yellow. It used to be a red thumb. And so I'm actually able to grow tomatoes now and peppers really well. So really excited about that. But eating healthy doesn't have to be boring, complicated, or expensive. Our family consumer science agents really work hard through our county offices and through all the counties in the state to help Mississippians find budget-friendly recipes, and we really focus on simple and common explanations and concepts that are evidence-based to help Mississippians be healthier through nutrition and wellness. I want to share some of the resources we have. We, throughout COVID, really saw the need to get involved and be on social media because everyone was, on social media, or at least a lot of Mississippians were on social media. So we do have an MSU Extension Nutrition and Health Facebook group where we share evidence-based information, videos, and recipes that are easy, family-friendly recipes, budget-friendly recipes, and programming to Mississippians. We also have lots of publications, or what we call them, or handouts, educational material on our website at extension.msstate.edu. And there's a search button for those. So we have lots of good information there. And like Dr. Wilson also mentioned, be sure to follow your county's Facebook page if you're on social media, because They do share lots of good information, whether it's about the Master Gardeners program, whether it's about 4-H or nutrition and wellness and so much more. So whatever county you live in, look on Facebook, look on Instagram, and see if your county has a social media presence, because you will get lots of good information about what's going on in Extension through that medium. You can also always call the Extension office or just take a walk or drive up to the Extension office and gather information that way as well. But I do want to share a little bit about our Dining with Diabetes program. It is a program that our family and consumer science agents offer in their counties. Not every county has this program, but many of our counties do have our Dining with Diabetes program, and it's an evidence-based program that focuses on diabetes education and prevention, whether someone is pre-diabetic or have diabetes or know someone with diabetes or just want to know more about diabetes. So you don't have to have diabetes to get involved in this program. Like I mentioned, it's evidence-based, and it was developed by our National Cooperative Extension Service, but it definitely has the goals that have demonstrated outcomes for prevention and management of diabetes and cardiovascular disease. It is not a medical nutrition therapy program. It is very community-based and community-oriented. And so you will get a lot of good, solid, evidence-based information to help you. We do still recommend, if you have a diabetes diagnosis, to see your physician or your dietitian. And there may be some other programming that you have to go through, but this does not take the place of a physician or your dietitian. But it's an educational program that's about 4 weeks that we offer. And then you have some follow-up. You learn how to cook. You learn how to cook healthy foods related to prevention and management of diabetes. You learn about label reading. You learn about some blood pressure concepts, cholesterol, just really hands-on educational information that we're offering at the county office or in the community through partnerships, or we're doing this virtual also. So it's very fun, good information. We have cooking demonstrations. We have food tastings throughout this program that you'll get to sample different things. And we also talk about being active and physical activity and what that means for your health as well. So we're really excited about this program. And just some of the core concepts are all about planning your plate, really focusing on what's on your plate. We don't do much with counting calories, counting carbohydrates, but really focusing on what's on your plate, how to put your plate in perspective to emphasize eating better or over the long term and really having some long-term goals of being healthier. So those are some of the main concepts that we have, explaining to our participants about carbohydrates, about fiber, what that means to you to be healthy. We talk about natural sugars versus added sugars, and really just trying to provide a base of information for Mississippians to be able to, like I said, manage and prevent diabetes. And I think, something else I want to share, our extension agents are really very involved in our community, whether they're doing a heart health program, whether they're doing a program that relates to charcuterie boards and how to make those healthier. So they're very involved in doing education and really trying to meet the needs of Mississippians. So that's just a little bit of a snippet of kind of some of the programs we have and what's going on with our Dining with Diabetes program.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you. A couple questions. So, when you know how you said that it's a program, you don't have to have diabetes, but when you sign up for it, is there some form of screening? I know that you are also an RN, but do y'all work in conjunction somehow with the healthcare providers to, if I don't know if I have it, my grandma had it, is there some way to help with that? Access to the healthcare to see how do I get screened to see if I am diabetic?
Right, so that's a great question. So So I'm actually not an RN, but a registered dietitian and a certified diabetes education.
Oh, sorry, I'm
care specialist. No, that's okay. I just want to make sure everybody knows that. But what we do, there is a basic screening form that can be done over the American Diabetes Association's website or a handout. So what we do suggest in all of our classes that you get tested. We really encourage a relationship with, and this is part of our program that focuses on self-advocacy. Really encourage a relationship between our participants and a family physician, or if they don't have one, referring them out, giving them information to be sure to be tested. Because we don't actually do the testing. Like I said, it's very community-based. We don't do any blood work or any tests to see if you have diabetes. But we can provide those resources for you to be screened, and obviously share information with you about how to go about getting screened, because we do feel that is extremely important. Most people who come to this program either know they've been told they have diabetes or pre-diabetes, or they do have a significant risk. So that is actually why they come into this program that's done out in the community. So we do offer those resources of support, but we don't do any screening throughout this particular program.
Do y'all work in conjunction at all with SNAP and WIC recipients? I know that the SNAP education program is under y'all's, your umbrella, and WIC is under the health department. But, is there anything that you guys do to help, to work with the SNAP education program so that they are also aware, or is that incorporated already?
Right. So specifically with the Dining with Diabetes program, we do not target specific groups. We target all Mississippians, right? So that could be a possibility that someone, who has SNAP benefits is going to go through our Dining with Diabetes program. But we don't necessarily target a certain group with this specific program.
I know that you had mentioned at one point in our earlier conversation before the call started about physical activity. Is that part of the Dining with Diabetes? Or speak a little bit about the necessity for people to be physically active. I know that you had an interest in that coming after Dr. Wilson being a master gardener, how there's a coordination there.
Right. So, and I think it's really important. I love that what he said earlier about getting your hands dirty. And really, I think that, being in your garden, whether it's you're going to plant fruits and vegetables or herbs, or if you're doing your flower beds, et cetera, it's an opportunity to be physically active. Through our Dining with Diabetes program and some other programs we have, like Walk Away is a physical activity, nutrition, and wellness program we have with Mississippi State Extension Service. We really do encourage physical activity. Really focusing on just moving more, not necessarily telling people, obviously we know, 150 minutes per week, but we really want people to start where they are. So our agents work hard in encouraging Mississippians to be healthy. Some of our county offices actually have physical activity programs or groups where they're working with groups, whether it's seniors, et cetera, or with the Dining with Diabetes program, where they're encouraging physical activity. But that is one of the most important things that I think people don't realize that is really beneficial for prevention of illness and, of course, management of diabetes. Obviously, if you haven't been active, it's important to make sure you're clear with your physician. But
hey, Qula, just one second. Please mute your phone. We're getting a lot of background noise, and we can hear a conversation going on in the back. Please mute your phone. Thank you. I'm sorry, Qula.
That's okay. But physical activity is one of those things that really can help be for management of high blood sugar, because it's really working towards the positive benefits. And so we really do encourage that. People with diabetes tend to be healthier and have better blood sugar control when they are more active. And so that is really important, even if it's as simple as walking after meals or walking in the evening or just finding time throughout the day to be more active. I think it's really important with physical activity to be sure that we don't make people feel they have to go to a gym. Well, if that's something you enjoy doing, that's great. But especially when you're first starting out, we just want people to get up and move more. And for some people, that may be 2 minutes. For others, that may be 20, 30, or even 5. But every little bit counts. And taking the approach of every little bit counts, and it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Because sometimes we feel, if I can't do 30 minutes or I can't get to the gym, I'm just not going to do anything. But finding those opportunities throughout the day to get up and move more is going to be very important for overall health. So we absolutely encourage that with most of our family consumer science programs that relate to nutrition and wellness.
One other thing that I was curious about, well, I can't say one because I'm sure there's so many others. This is fascinating. Do y'all incorporate how to shop at the grocery store? You know that there's such a science. I mean, I never knew this before, but there's such a science about how a grocery store is set up and how important it is to kind of work the perimeter first, because that's where all your fresh stuff is and your healthier stuff. Could you speak to that for a minute, please?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So part of some of the programming we do, there may be a virtual grocery store tour. Some of our agents may do. Some agents actually have done grocery store tours. I've done those a lot as a registered dietitian. And so we do discuss with participants, depending on the program, depending on, what the needs are of our group, things about grocery shopping, staying in the perimeter. I think, you will see many grocery stores have changed to where I really like to make sure we don't tell people you can only get healthy things in the perimeter, because there are some really great healthy options in the center aisles. And we actually did a video on that with Extension Service. So we have lots of educational videos about things like that. And we have one specifically about the center aisles and those opportunities of getting whole grains, low sodium canned beans, and things like that are budget friendly, but found in the center aisle as well. Those frozen foods, et cetera. So yes, in Extension, we have lots of educational opportunities that people may not know about, whether it's through videos, through handouts, and things that your county offices are doing that are really related to helping Mississippians get healthy.
Okay, that's great. Okay,
and I think what I would say, I really think, be sure to, because I was just talking to a group recently, and I do believe that so many people don't realize all the things that the Mississippi State University Extension Service offers. And until you really, kind of start looking, you really don't know. So make sure you call or follow your county's Facebook group, our Facebook page, like Dr. Wilson said. We have lots of good information about the nutrition and wellness arena on our Facebook group, MSU Extension Nutrition and Wellness. You can search that and follow us. We have lots of things we share throughout what Extension is doing. We also have the Food Factor, which is a digital show where there's recipes, there's cooking demonstrations on there. So lots of really good information. It's budget friendly, like you mentioned, that talks about so many things. For example, we have a salt-free seasoning publication, which focuses on salt-free seasoning. So if that's something you're looking to do, is decrease the sodium in your diet, looking for more heart health options, we have seasoning blends. We have lots of recipes that's available, and it's free for Mississippians. You can download it, or you can go to the county office and ask for it, and we can get it for you. So, there's so much there that I think people may be missing out on. So we'd really encourage you to go to extension.msstate.edu, take a look, and you'll be able to find the area that you're most interested in, and find information that's really reliable, that's evidence-based.
Qula, are most of the materials available in other, Spanish?
So we don't have, we have some materials available in Spanish. Yes. Not everything is available in Spanish, and I'm not the communications person, obviously, but we do have some information available in Spanish that will be very helpful. We have a lot of our agents in the family and consumer science arena who do work with a Spanish speaking population and are able to provide those resources.
Okay, that's
I will
great.
say if you just click on our website, it's not necessarily that you'll just find it right there, but we can be sure to get those things for you if they're needed. So we do have them in Spanish available.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay, at this time, if you have a question for either of our presenters today, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Are there any questions from our master gardener, our nutritionist, and diabetes specialist, dining with diabetes?
Good morning. This is Joyce Nunn, and this is about the Master Gardener Program. I had an opportunity to actually participate in it last year, first time ever doing a garden, and it was with UAB in the Mississippi State Extension here in Belzona. And I promise you, I really enjoyed it. And also, actually, I have started my garden this year. So I just want everybody to know that it is a very, very good program.
Well, now, Joyce, I know you call to ask about my potato.
Okay.
Are there any other questions?
I actually have a question for Dr. Wilson. Dr. Wilson, what is your recommendation for pest control in like a home garden? So, tomatoes and other fruits and vegetables like that. What is your favorite thing to use to prevent pests?
All right, so that's a really good question. First of all, there's not much you can do. Actually, there's very little that you can do to prevent pests as far as insects go. Now, you can prevent diseases through fungicide sprays, but when you're saying pests, if you're talking about insects, there's not many products out there that are going to prevent anything. So what we recommend for gardeners to do, which most gardeners do this, is you scout your garden every couple of days. Then you just walk through the garden and you look for things and you notice things. And so that if you see an issue, an insect or something, then you can start treating at that point. And in the vegetable garden, the most important thing is that you always use something that is labeled for vegetables. Most insecticides that are available, many are labeled for use in vegetables, but you want to be sure that what you're spraying is labeled for vegetables because that's a product that you're going to eat as opposed to spraying your crepe myrtle, which you're not going to eat, I assume. But there are a lot of products on the market available. There are some that are organic, and then there are some that are non-organic or more traditional. And, if you start early, if you catch the pest problem early, you can, in many cases, use one of the organic products, and it will help solve that issue. If you don't catch it early and you're only scouting once a week, the problem may get to the point that you have to move beyond an organic spray and use a more of a traditional spray. But again, as long as it is labeled for vegetables, you know that it has been researched and it's completely safe to spray. And we always tell people you read that label because it will tell you how much to mix and how to spray it. And how to use the product so that you're using it in a safe manner.
Any other questions? We'll share it.
But at this time, for the essential minute, I'm going to turn my time over to Jennifer Russell, and she's with the Washington County Extension Office, and I wanted her to share a few minutes about another program that we offer. Jennifer, the time is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Can y'all hear me?
Yes,
we can, Jennifer. Yes.
Right. Thank you, Sharon, for giving me just a moment to be able to talk about the Homemaker Volunteer Program that we have in Extension. Just like Dr. Qula Madkin has already stated, as well as Nelson, we have a lot of different programs in Extension, but what I want to talk to you about is the Mississippi Homemaker Volunteer Group. And so with that group, a lot of times you'll hear people say MHD, so I just want to make sure that's clear because Extension, for some reason, we like to use a lot of acronyms, and sometimes people don't know what that means. I want to talk a little bit about the mission of what MHV basically does. And what it basically is a program that strengthens families. If you look at it, it's more like home economics in a sense of trying to get it out into the homes, getting it out into the community. But just like any other MHV group or any other volunteer group, you have guidelines, of course, that you basically have to follow. So basically, with this program, we meet, or let's say, for instance, the council meets once a month. With that council, they come in and basically they're trained either by myself or we may have someone that we may invite. And so as an example of that, I'll kind of bring this home just to make it a little bit more plain. Like, for instance, the month of April is Child Abuse Month. That's one of the programs or one of the projects that we basically work with through the Mississippi Homemaker Volunteer Group. And so what I do is I normally train my individuals or have the Department of Human Services to come in to train the individuals on looking at the signs and the symptoms of child abuse, so that if you see it, you know what to do, how to report it, so that you can prevent a child from being hurt. Of course, when we start talking about the Blue Ribbon Campaign, we don't just do it in the office. We go into the schools. Sometimes we even do it in the churches, and we just try to get the information out about it. MHV also, once they meet once a month, just to make this a little bit more plainer, they actually take that information that we train them with on a monthly basis, and they take that information back to their clubs and they share that information with that group. Just like any other group, it lends more hands for extension for us to get the word out about projects and things that actually reach out to the communities for which we live in. Also, with the Mississippi Homemaker Volunteers, there are 3 other areas that we basically try to focus on. One is on Children's Hospital of Mississippi, where we basically sew and we donate blankets, cough pillows, therapy dolls, and also any other needed items that the hospital basically tells us that they need. For Washington County, just kind of show you how you can kind of tailor your programs for your area. We do, I think it's called mastectomy bags for individuals who have had cancer and they need something to actually hold for the pain when they're actually going through their treatment. And we've all, I was trying to think of something else we've done. We just do projects based on whatever the need is for the particular county at the time. Also, you have international programs that we basically teach, where we do sewing dresses for schoolgirls, shorts for boys, and also tote bags for women. And one of the other projects that we basically do is also on teddy bears for comfort. We know that a lot of times when children are involved in car accidents, they are afraid. And so a lot of times we try to work with the Mississippi the Mississippi Highway Patrol in providing teddy bears for children when children are when they get to a scene of an accident and there's a child actually involved, to try and give that child some comfort. Also, with the Mississippi Homemaker Volunteers, to become a member, all you basically have to do is come to our office, basically fill out a form. On that form, it normally asks for only your name, your address. Normally, we like to know what your interests are, simply because what happens is in any type of volunteer group, many times we have individuals who may be retired school teachers. You may just be an individual who have retired from your job and you're looking to use those expertise that you basically have. And so it I guess forms a platform for that individual to be able to share information that they know, as well as us teaching them information. So it's almost like 2 working together. The membership fee to become a member is $10 a month. However, each club sets an additional fee if they want. For instance, in our county, we charge $15 a year for our annual fee, and that's all you have to pay. Of that $15, we send the 10 to Mississippi State, and the other 5 stays in the county fund for us to be able to do programs that we need to do. Let's see. And if you need to know more information about MHV, all you have to do is go to extension.msstate.edu/MHV. So I was trying to move this fast because I knew I only had 5 minutes. So feel free to ask me any questions that you may have about what Mississippi Homemaker Volunteers is at any point. And I do want to add this while I'm thinking about this. A lot of times most people think that MHV is just a group of women that basically are in this group. That's far from the truth. We have men that actually are involved in MHV. Now, I will say we have more women than we do men, but it is a volunteer group that is open to men and women as far as trying to do what we can to actually better our communities. That's basically what MHV is about. Are there any questions from anyone about what MHV is?
That's a wonderful program, and we will have the podcast will be available so people can go back and listen to it on Spotify. We will post this information. Everyone who gave a website or contact information, we will have that on the partnership webpage. So we'll have additional ways for you to follow up if you did not get it the first time around. And please feel free to share all this information so people that might not have been able to join our call will have access to it. Sharon, you want to close us out?
I'll close us out. We have had another awesome call, I thank Mississippi State for coming to share the wealth of information that they have shared. Dr. Wilson, thank you so much for bringing us up to date on what is going on with all the Master Gardeners. We say congratulations to your 30-year anniversary for providing that service for the community. And if you're interested, again, reach out so you can become a Master Gardener in your community so you can educate those individuals that have those red thumbs, as Dr. Macklin discussed. Thank you, Dr. Macklin, for talking about the health and the wellness as well as the Dining with Diabetes program. I was in a session a couple of weeks ago and someone asked the question, what is the best exercise you can do? And the answer is any exercise that you will do, anything. One thing might work for one person, one thing might work for somebody else, but find something that works for you so that you will want to do it. Because sometimes we see somebody doing one thing and then we try to do it. We don't like it, and then we stop doing it. But find something that you really enjoy doing and do it. As you said, just implement it, incorporate it. 15 minutes a day. It seems like it's not a lot of time, but sometimes it takes us a while to get started with that 15 minutes. But start with 5 minutes so that you can ensure that you have a healthy life, that you want to live a long time. Jennifer, thank you so much for bringing us an overview of the MHB program. If you need any information, as they said, all of our presenters have said, please reach out to your local extension office. They have a wealth of information, publications. They can get you in contact with what you need to help you. We want to provide a service to the community to help them help themselves. So again, please don't hesitate to reach out to your local extension office. I always send people to MSU Cares. You can click on their website and it can lead you also to a wealth of information. Do we have, I'm trying to wrap up because I know our time has been well spent. Do we have any community announcements from any of our community partners that have joined us today? If you would, please unmute yourself and share.
Yes. Hi, this is Claire. I am the new Special Projects Coordinator here at the Partnership for a Healthy Mississippi. I have one quick announcement. Mississippi Blood Services is doing a donation drive this Friday, April 15th at Soy Wine and Spirits. It is from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. You can sign up online at msblood.com. You're going to click on blood drive near you and then enter the zip code 39047 and click on Soy Wine and Spirits to sign up for your time slot. They are providing a $15 Visa gift card after donations.
Thank you. Any additional announcements?
Thank you.
The Mississippi Health Ambassadors and Harpers County Health Charge and community health worker. And this month is cancer disparities in minority population. And I'm encouraging everyone to go out and get your screenings that you need. Early detection saves lives. And also, don't forget about your COVID vaccine. If you have not had them or you know someone that haven't had them, please go out and get them. And they're still offering gift cards at your local federal qualified health centers, which some of them are offering $50 for the first and second, and also we are giving $25 for each any shot that you get. So please, let's stay healthy and encourage everybody else to do the same. Thank you.
Also,
Thank you. I think I heard another voice.
Yes, one more person. This is Jennifer Wilson.
Hello, good morning.
I just wanted to say we actually have a garden tour on May 12th that will be in Stoneville. We're going to have Gary Botman to come and to actually speak. And also there will be 2 other great presenters on that day. There is no fee to actually attend. And again, the time is May 12th from 1 to 5.
Thank you. Ms. Winters, I think I heard your voice.
Hello, everybody.
Yes, good. We can hear you.
Hi, this is Greta Winters, and I would like to just talk about the community health fair that we'll be having here in Yazoo City at King Solomon Missionary Baptist Church on April the 27th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. G.A. Carmichael, which is one of our great community partners, they will actually offer free health screening for blood pressure, diabetes, and other health services that they'll offer. Also, they will be discussing and talking about COVID testing, the COVID vaccine, as well as the COVID booster and other services that are offered by their health center. Also, I want to piggyback off the last presenter. They are offering the gift card. If you have not taken your COVID vaccine, they are offering, once again, $50 gift card for the first and second COVID shots if you haven't had those shots. And in addition, myself and other persons that are working in conjunction to G.A. Carmichael are also offering a $25 Visa gift card for anyone who takes the booster. Even if you take it at a different healthcare provider like CVS, Walmart, or a different clinic, you just have to show us a copy of your vaccination card, your record card, and we'll be glad to try to assist you in regards to getting that $25 gift card, Visa gift card. This is something very important for the community, especially the health fair. We want to get out as many people as possible. Early diagnosis and treatment can save your life. So we just want to stress that even with the COVID safety concerns that are currently in our society. So we want to encourage and invite everybody to the health fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Winter. Thank you again. We have, again, had an awesome call. Please, you all, if you know somebody that needs this information, please direct them to the partnership website. You can go to healthy-miss.org to find out more information about what the partnership provides, how they educate the state about the dangers of using tobacco products and the dangers of secondhand smoke. You can also reach the Extension Service, the Mississippi State University Extension Service. Please visit their website to find out about all the different programs that we have to offer to the state of Mississippi. Again, I can't say it enough. We cannot do these calls without our community partners. So we thank you all so much for joining us every other Tuesday. If you have a program idea that you want to, if you need more information about a particular topic, please don't hesitate to reach out to myself, Sharon Nettles. You can reach me at 601-497-9884, or you can reach Sandra Shelton at the Partnership for Health in Mississippi, and we would love to get those individuals on. Thank you. Please share this call with other individuals if you would like to become a part of our call log, where we can send you a message to remind you of the calls, or if you're not on our constant contact list that the partnership sends out, please reach out to us. You can send me a text with your contact information. We can include your phone number on it, as well as get you on that constant contact list. But please do not keep this information to yourself. Share it with other individuals in their community so that they can become empowered. Again, to our presenters today, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. And we look for each of you joining us in 2 weeks. Have an awesome week. Thank you.